Credit scores, credit scores. It's always about the credit scores, isn't it? So if you're trying to buy a home, you're trying to buy a car or big appliances and you need financing, they're going to review your credit. That's just the way it works. In this video, I'm going to show you something very, very important. We're going to get your scores up in a very rapid manner in about a 2 to 3 week horizon. We're going to move them 20, 30, 50, 70, 100 basis points. That's no small chore. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And we're going to move these scores dramatically. Like I said, it's going to improve your situation. You're going to improve your pricing. If you're buying a mortgage or a car for that matter, the rate will be much better. And of course, your availability to different options will become expanded because now you have a much better and acceptable credit score. So let's kick this off right now. Hi folks, I'm the Mortgage Patriot, Kevin Fagan here, right above San Antonio in the beautiful Hill Country, serving proud Texans all around, as well as those around the country. So we'd love to help you. Before we get going into this, look down below, hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me and it helps you. So now I can provide actionable content to you, valuable content to you that you can actually watch and immediately put into practice. In this case, this video is going to be no different. It's a very important topic of credit scores. Here's the flow of this video. I'm going to show you how the algorithms are actually calculated and the weightings of those factors within the trade bureaus themselves. You know, how do they come up with those scores? What determines those scores? We're going to look at a service that I have. It's really cool. It's a simulator. It's a credit score enhancement simulator. We're going to show you by picking apart different trade lines. If we pay down a card, if we do this to something else, how those scores can go up immediately after filing certain paperwork. And then we're going to do two important hacks. One is using your rental history as inserting that as a new trade line. And the last is called authorized users, an authorized user. So stick all the way to the end because I'm promising you, if you implement these strategies, you will within 2 to 3 weeks improve your score. I've seen 100 basis points movement, but certainly 20, 30, 40, 50 basis points is not unusual in the least. So hang around and let's get started. Let's look at what we call the scoring algorithm, or how the trade bureaus actually make up and create the numbers that you see as your FICO scores. There's 3 reporting bureaus. You have TransUnion, you have Equifax, and you have Experian. All 3 of those firms use roughly the same algorithm. So some people wonder, why have my credit scores different across the board? Well, it's for 2 reasons. 1, their algorithms are not exactly the same. And 2, sometimes if you make a car payment, for example, the actual dealership or whomever the financing source is only reports to maybe 1 or 2, if not all 3 of them. So that's the reason you have different scores sometimes, because some of the vendors aren't reporting the information from some of the trade lines that you have. So the biggest impact that you can make on your credit, and this is most obvious, 35% of your scores is made up from payment history, meaning that keeping current on the payments that you're obligated to. So again, let's take the car payment. You pay once a month and you have to pay before the 15th or else considered late. Or if you're 30 days late, then it becomes a derogatory account. So keeping current keeps your scores better. So every single month, your score is going to slightly improve if you just stay current. And now the second biggest impact, to the tune of 30% of your scores, is the credit utilization. What does that mean? That means anytime you have a revolving account, like a credit card, they usually have credit limits. So let's say your credit limit is $1,000. You have the ability to go to $1,000. Does that help you if you max out your cards? No, it doesn't. The credit utilization, that percentage that you're using, makes all the difference on your scores. For example, if you have $300 as a balance against your $1,000 credit limit, you're going to score much better than somebody that has a $1,000 limit and has $800 in utilized balances. If you're trying to bring down your scores, look across all your revolving accounts and try to bring them within a manageable number. That magic number usually is below 30%. You'll immediately bump up your scores, and I'll show you some proof of that in a minute, by bringing down your utilization on your credit cards or your revolving cards to the tune of 30% or better. Next in line is the 15% of your scores is determined by the length of history. So the longer your accounts have been on the books, so to speak, the better your scores are going to be. So if you open up a card this month and you're current on it, let's say for 2 months, and you're current on those 2 months, it doesn't quite have the same impact as a card that you've established already for 4 years. Now, the last 2 categories will represent 10% each, but it's the concept of new credit and a mix of credit. The new credit is how many accounts have you opened very recently? So it's not a good sign, for instance, if you're trying to get a mortgage or you're trying to get a car, but for the last 2 months, you've already opened up an electronics account and you've opened up an account at Home Depot, what have you. That's not going to help your cause. So if you're coming up to a major purchase, I would avoid opening up any new credit lines at all. And that last 10% is the mix of credit. What does that mean? It's favorable to you if you have different types of debts on your account, meaning one could be an installment account, like a car note. One could be credit cards, that's a revolving account. One could be, say, student loans. So just that mix of different types of obligations helps 10% of those numbers. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of actually increasing your scores rapidly. And let me show you how I do it. I do it in 3 ways. And the first way is I have a credit score enhancement simulator, and it's free. And so when I review your credit, and if we're at certain levels that aren't quite sufficient yet, we do hypotheticals basically to see what it would take to move you from one score to another. So in this scenario, we're trying to go from a 616 to a 660. And let's see how fast we can do that. And the answer is very quick. Because remember back when we told you about the utilization of your credit cards? If you pay your credit cards down, that's the most impactful thing you can do aside from just staying current. So in this scenario, we're going from 616 to 660. And when we fed all the information into the credit score simulator, we found a way to get to 660. And that path has a 93% likelihood. So that's a very high likelihood. And what is it telling us to do? Here are the action steps. It says using $1,388 total, paying down 2 accounts, and doing them basically as fast as you can. So I go into the details, and this is the other slides that I show you now. Here is a card, and it's got $1,333 on it. The credit limit on this one is $1,500. So they're almost tapped out. I think they're about 88% utilization on this card. But if we pay that card down from $1,333 to $76, whammo, then that takes us almost all the way to that 660. And the other part of the puzzle would be they're paying down, making basically another payment on their student loan. So they're paying anywhere from 131 to 302. It says, it's got some verbiage there exactly. They don't know quite if that last payment's been made or not. But let's say you're making a payment somewhere between $131 and $302. That combined with the paying down of the revolving card gets you to a 660 score. And then I give you some quick tips, or the simulator does, on, again, what not to do. Do not increase your debt or apply for any new credit as you're applying for your home. Don't take a cash advance on your credit card. That's always a no-no. That's a sign that, hey, you need money, you're really hurting. Do not close any credit accounts. People think that by closing accounts, hey, that's going to increase your score. No, it doesn't. At least in the short term, it does not. Over the long term, yes, it does. But do not close out any accounts when you're trying to buy a car or trying to buy a home. Make all your payments on time. We've mentioned that. And do not finance purchases or co-sign on a loan. So don't let anybody talk you into co-signing. So that is really the best way quickly to move your scores from one to another, is just changing that utilization. But I'm going to show you 2 professional hacks that are going to really explode your score if you don't have the ability to pay down on your cards. Let's now take some time to go over the first of 2 professional hacks, if you will, to really increase your scores very dramatically. And the first is this. It is a vendor named Rental KHARMA. And I'm going to put this link right that you see at the top here on my screen in the description below of my video. And I'll also put it hopefully somewhere else where you can see it. Maybe I'll embed it in the actual video. If you're leasing a home or an apartment and you've got, say, a year history or 2-year history especially, you're going to want to use this firm. Why? Well, it costs only like $50, best money you've ever spent. I'll also show you how you can get $25 off of that. See, $25 with code. You're going to put in my code, PK Fagan, the number 60, all uppercase, PK Fagan 60. And you're going to go to this Get Started button, or you can hit this tab right here, and it's going to take you to their little application. What do? This company is cool. They're going to call your landlord, they're going to call your property manager, and as long as you've been timely, your rental history, be it a year, 2 years, however long, is going to now be gathered up by Rental KHARMA, their professionals, and they're going to submit that trade line, that history, to the 3 bureaus. Because as it stands, normally on your credit report, you will not see your rental history. Some apartment complexes will submit some information to one or two, or usually not even three of the bureaus. So they might have it, but usually not. So when those trade bureaus receive your rental history from Rental KHARMA, bingo, bango, immediately your scores go up, because now we've added a new trade line that has really clean history, and that's yours. It's been there all this time. It has never been reported. So this firm just takes that and now reports it and gets it organized. The trade unions put it on there, and voila, within a matter of 2 to 3 weeks, scores go up again, 20, 30, 40 points sometimes. So just this one hack alone is worth the price of admission. And again, it's very low cost, but I can get you $25 off. So look in the description once again, hit this button or hit the Get Started button. Make sure you put my code in, fill in the information, and within probably a couple of weeks, you're going to see your scores dramatically improve. Just what a great situation that is. So I've shown you now how to use this credit score enhancement simulator. I've shown you the vendor called Rental KHARMA and how quickly they can advance your scores. Now let's go to the last professional hack, and that is using yourself as an authorized user on someone else's credit card. What does that mean? If you have a friend, a relative, a spouse that is willing to help you and has a credit card from a certain vendor, not every vendor will allow this, but a certain credit card issuer like Capital One, Wells Fargo, and there's others. I can find a list for you if you'd like. You approach one of these people that would like to help you, and you ask them to add you to their card as an authorized user. Now, let me tell you a few things before I tell you how that's going to work. You tell them that you do not want to use that card, because there's going to be some reluctance, obviously, when you approach someone and ask for it to be an authorized user on their card. Tell them, number one, you're not going to use that card. You don't want to be extended a card. All you're doing is asking them to call up the credit card issuer, let's just say Capital One, ask them to add your name and whatever vital information they need as an authorized user on their card. And what happens? Within a couple of weeks, or the next time that card reports to the bureaus, your name will appear, and on your credit report, it will show up as a trade line with all the history that's been attached to that card. As an example, you approach your brother, and let's say that he's got a Capital One card from 3 years ago, and it's been clean, and it's got a good balance on it, meaning a low balance relative to its credit line. You don't want to be an authorized user on a card that's missed payments, or a card that's got a high outstanding balance compared to its credit limit. Remember our utilization that we talked to earlier. So a card that's going to have a good score attached to it by being timely and having a very low balance relative to its credit limit. So all they do is they call in and they add your name and your vital information, and 2 or 3 weeks later, or when that card reports, you will be shown on your credit report all the history of that card. And just like Rental KHARMA, you are adding another trade line with tremendous good history, and that immediately impacts your scores 20, 30, 40 points. So it's a great strategy. And if you use it in the context of telling that person who's trying to help you out, you will not be issued a card. You don't want a card, and you will not be using the card. And after you apply for the mortgage and get approved, and that mortgage closes, in our example, you will be asking them to remove you as an authorized user. So it's a quick in and out, maybe a couple of months. You're never going to use the card, and your new scores will reflect that. So what are the next steps? The next step is to call me or text me at 210-317-6514. And I'm going to show you, again, we're going to move your scores 100 points. If we can use all three of these techniques, you're going to move your scores 100 points. If you're going to use some combination of them, maybe not as much, but you may not need that big a push. You only may need to go from 620 to 680, 60 points. But either way, let me help you with the 3 ways we talked about: the credit enhancement simulation tool, Rental KHARMA, and then the use of authorized users. And you're going to be very, very pleased at how you explode your credit scores in a matter of weeks. So my name is Kevin Fagan. I am the Mortgage Patriot on your side, and let's make it a great one.